For the first time in a month, the Oklahoma women's gymnastics team returns to the Lloyd Noble Center as head coach KJ Kindler chases her 500th career win tonight. It's a quad meet as the number 3 ranked Oklahoma Sooners host number 10 Denver, Texas Women's University, and Lindenwood. Hi everyone, as we welcome you inside the Lloyd Noble Center, Meg McDonald here with Olympian and Sooner legend Kelly Garrison Funderburk. Kelly, 4 teams on 4 different events, all competing simultaneously. What type of challenges are presented in this situation?
You know, Meg, when there's a quad meet, it's chaotic. All events are going at once, it's loud, it's noisy, and the athletes sometimes they feel rushed, and that's not what they want to feel. And so, but no worries, because this is the perfect environment to prepare them for the national championship, because that's what it feels like, everyone going at once.
2 of the 4 teams that we'll see on the competition floor are actually Division II teams. That's Texas Women's University and Lindenwood. However, both teams capable of putting up 195s.
I was shocked just watching them in warm-up. They were easily performing Division I level skills, and fluid and beautiful. I think most people will be really surprised, and I'm a little bit surprised that they're not higher up in the rankings, to be quite frank, but they look great.
Number 10 Denver and Big 12 foe for the Oklahoma Sooners also competing tonight. This team has had to deal with some COVID issues, some contact tracing issues, but they're looking to get healthier as the season progresses.
Well, I think every program's struggled with the COVID and the inconsistencies that it's caused, and Denver is no different. They actually at times have had trouble getting 5 or 6 athletes just on the floor to compete to get that score.
Now, last but not least, the number 3 ranked Oklahoma Sooners, the home team inside the Lloyd Noble Center. This team has seen some bumps in the road, maybe not putting up scores they're capable of, but as of late, they've been able to climb those rankings.
Well, it's just unusual for the Sooners because they are used to being so prepared early on. They're known for that. And this is COVID thing's kind of thrown a wrench into the system for them. However, no worries. They are working it out. They're starting to finalize their lineups and build the confidence and momentum going forward. I think that's it's a different season, but that's okay.
And that brings us to our Sooner to watch. It's senior Carrie Thomas tonight. Since head coach KJ Kindler has inserted her into this beam lineup in that 5th spot, she's scored back-to-back 995s, career highs for her.
No surprise, she's in the best shape of her life. I think you'll be surprised and excited just to watch her perform.
All right, that's our Sooner to watch, presented by OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies. All right, Oklahoma will start on vault, Denver on bars, Texas women's on beam, and Lindenwood on floor. That's coming up after this.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, Anheuser-Busch, and the OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies, and our community partners, Landers Auto Group, Coca-Cola, and OU Health.
Welcome back inside the Lloyd Noble Center. 4 teams tonight in this quad meet. Before we get underway, let's take a look at some of the rules in this competition tonight. 6 gymnasts per team compete on each event. The 5 top scores count. The lowest score is dropped. The team with the highest cumulative score will win. It's a simultaneously start. Every team will be competing at once, and they will follow the Olympic rotation following their first event, going vault, bars, beam, and floor exercise. Now let's take a look at Denver rankings here. They start on their best 2 events of this competition, bars and beam, 5th in the rankings here, but they will close out on floor and vault with events that aren't their best, Kelly.
They will, but I think when you attack the first 2 events, you build this confidence, and it's just going to give them that momentum going forward. So when they get to balance beam, if they hit the first 2, or actually if they hit bars, they're going to feel really good going into balance beam.
They will have some work to make up compared to the Oklahoma Sooners, though, because you look at these rankings, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, and 6th. They're top 10 in every single event. They're impressive.
They are, but the scoring is so close. You know, it's really shocking. It's just maybe a 10th or 2.
And as we get set for this competition, again, every single team will be competing at once. We will do our very best to show as many athletes as possible, but it is a challenge in terms of broadcasting. But we'll start with Emma LaPinta for the Oklahoma Sooners. She'll do a Yurchenko full.
Emma was inserted late into the middle of the season in the lineup, and she's just a solid girl. Nice hit routine.
Now, the Oklahoma Sooners will have not 6 10-0 start values. They're looking to get Olivia Troutman back in the postseason for that.
Right. So right now they only have 5, and so that does make a difference.
One more look at Emma LaPinta on vault, opening up this competition. That is an important role for every single team. You want that leadoff spot to be hit. And that brings us to our keys to the meet, brought to you by Riverwind. Riverwind, still the one. Kelly, walk me through your keys.
Well, at this point in the season, because it's been so different of a year for every team, everyone's trying to solidify the lineup and build that confidence. They're just used to it, and the consistency builds confidence.
And we'll go back to vault. This is Allie Stern, the junior. She will do the first Yurchenko 1.5 of the night. Now, we mentioned the 10-0 start values. That is a 10-0 start value. Emma LaPinta's vault only started from a 9.95, and it looks like she goes 9.65.
Allie's vault seems to determine the rest of the rotation, so hopefully she'll nail that landing. Oh, much over-rotated. Unfortunately, that's a big step and a big deduction.
KJ Kindler told me that Allie Stern finds that landing so often in practice, but when you get a crowd and you hear extra noise, you tend to overdo it, and that looks like it's the case.
That's right. I mean, I always use that for the good. Like, practice wasn't always as good. And then I do, oh, I'll have that momentum in a meet.
As we take a look at Denver on bars, this is Rosie Casali, a freshman from Weddington, North Carolina. She trained at Southeastern Gymnastics. And it's funny, Kelly, the Nastia Lewinken Cup was today. She actually finished second in 2017 in that competition.
Well, maybe it'll give her some good vibes. I've noticed, Meg, even though you're not seeing it on TV right now, you can hear the noise in the arena. It's exciting to hear each event and all these great athletes. So here's Casali doing her first release. Oh, and hitting that handstand.
She's following Alexandria Ruiz, 9.85. Great leadoff spot. Wow.
A beautiful double layout.
Floaty double leg.
Unfortunately, she did take a step, so those are the things that are caused from the inconsistency of practice or even competition. It's always different in competition.
Heading back quickly to vault, this is Catherine Lavasser, a freshman. She'll do Yurchenko 1.5.
Her lines are incredible. Okay, much better. Not great, but better. So if they keep on this track, hopefully they'll start seeing some sticks.
Sooners putting up a 9.65 for Emma LaPinta and then a 9.75 for Allie Stern. One more look at Catherine Lavasser.
You know, and those scores are not what it takes to win even a Big 12 or, a national championship. I mean, so they have got to find those landings. Everyone, every event.
Well, we mentioned just moments ago, this is one of Denver's best events. They can capitalize early on in this competition if the Sooners can't find these landings on vault.
Well, it looks like they have already with just the first score.
Now, third up for Denver will be Jessica Hutchinson. Again, just a freshman. Some of these freshmen for the Denver Pioneers have been capable of competing 3 events, and they've been relied on this season.
One thing I noticed about Denver is they have a very consistent routine, like between all the athletes. They have a Shaposhnikova, then right to a pack, and double layout. I'd like to see more variety, but at the end of the day, that's not what wins always. You have to put forth your best, most consistent routine. They have figured that out too. So far, this has been an outstanding routine. Again, another double layout, little different technique. I mean, she is 5'7", so you have to tap through the bottom a little bit different when you have that much height.
Jessica Hutchinson competed international for Bulgaria, and this is Anastasia Webb, who put up a 10-0 on this event just weeks ago.
Well, she nailed it. Oh, very close. Yes, much better than her early warm-up, but not quite as good as just the touch. She did perfectly land it in the touch warm-up. However, that's what the centers need to get back on track.
One more look at it. Look at that huge block, great form in the air.
I noticed that too. As soon as she popped up off, her body was perfectly straight. It was textbook.
Rosie Casali goes 9.8 in that second spot for Denver. Catherine Lavasser will score 9.85, and the score is already in for Anastasia Webb. Hey, those scores come in fast when there's not a lot of deductions. She goes 9.9. As Emily Glynn will get set for Denver on bars.
You know, one thing Emily brings is her experience being a senior. And she now has a little bit different of a routine. You'll notice her big release move, which is required, is different than the ones you've seen before.
She'll compete a ginger, which is technically one of the releases in that big group that is somewhat common, but it's not. Gingers are somewhat rare.
They are.
And when they're done well like this, they are beautiful to watch.
Oh, and her form was exquisite.
I think often in gingers, their feet come apart, but that's not the case for this athlete.
Not at all. I love her quickness up off the bar when she casts. Her hips just rise. Look at that dismount. Oh, and that's the landing right there.
Full twisting double back. That is not an easy dismount.
No, it's something you would see in international competition. I'm not sure if everyone at home, when you're watching, realize the difficulty level of women's collegiate gymnastics these days.
Here's Evie Schofer. She'll do a 10-0 start, but it's going to be in that tucked position. Here's Yurchenko 1.5.
Look at the block. Nice and high.
Huge.
Oh, that was perfect.
Huge
Holy
ball.
cow. That was like, okay, the crowd is going crazy. The team is going crazy because everyone in the room knows it's a 10. I will be so curious if the judge throws it.
One more look at it.
We'll see. Look right here. Perfect in the air. She lands and she's like,
Look at her
you
face."
betcha.
Wow.
You betcha.
You know, speaking to KJ Kindler this year, she said, it has affected my athletes without fans, and then look at this. This is with the fans. The crowd goes crazy. What a great vault for Evie Schofer.
It was. I mean, she did. I'm just going to tell you, the score is up for a 9.925. And you know what? Unfortunately, she's got to do that more often to get that 10. They've got to see her hit it and hit it and hit it. Almost like earning your rights to get the 10.
Now we'll head over to bars. This athlete is an absolute star. Lindsey Brown, a senior from Kansas City, Missouri. She is incredible. Coming off an Achilles tear from last year. Enjoy this bar routine.
She's fluid. She's not just strong. Watch that Chapash hat. Hits a
Nice handstand.
perfect handstand right on top of the bar. And look at the landing. She nailed everyone in warm-up.
Floaty.
Just like Maggie Nichols would do. When I watched her, I thought, that's exactly right. She knows it, and right where she is when she hits the ground.
She's number 4 on bars, number 6 in the all-around. She is so fun to watch.
Well, and she's also one of the nominees for the AAI award, along with Anastasia.
Here's Audrey Davis. We'll see if she does the 1.5.
She does it! Woo! Look at Lou. Lou Ball. The coach is just like, that's what I'm talking about. I've never, he gets so psyched. I mean, not very often do you see a lot of emotion from Lou Ball, and his face was priceless.
Audrey Davis has only thrown the 1.5 one time at Metroplex on podium. It's a game time decision, and check that out. Finds the landing with a perfect stick. Lou Ball speaks with his fists.
He does. I have to say, the only thing that they could take off for is how the leg pops up in the air during the twist.
Heading back over to bars, huge Takasha from Riley Mundell. Wow.
She is a real beauty to watch. If you notice her all the way through to her toe point. It's so easy to relax on bars and not think about, your toes. Now she kind of pinged off the bar a little bit on her dismount. She needs to hold down a little bit longer through the giant in order to land it, but still a great routine.
995s in both the anchor spots for Denver and vault. Look at that huge Tkachev, great toe point in that release move.
Well, her form, I mean, if you were trying to show someone, that's what it looks like. Watch this girl.
So again, Audrey Davis will score a 995. My only guess and deduction is the feet in the air. There are some form breaks. Even if you stick the landing, the vault still has to have great form.
That's right. There's a leg separation. And honestly, I used to kind of do that. You kind of kick that leg up to spin around it. So once she fixes that, Katie bar the door.
KJ told me she's only been training that vault. She just started training in the fall, actually, and it is a game time decision. They decided to throw it tonight. Really, really impressed with her. Now, this is AK Subjects, just an exhibition routine, so this routine will not count towards the Denver team score. She actually trained at the same gym as Maggie Nichols and Olivia Troutman.
This is a great opportunity for her to get back into the lineup, work through some kinks. Oh. And that's an example of why, when you cast over on the last handstand, there's not a whole lot you can do to save it.
So a huge deduction, but again, this routine won't count. This is why they have exhibition routines to, like you mentioned, work the kinks out. There is some extra nerves, however, than you'd think in that exhibition routine because you're trying to crack the lineups. You're
right.
trying to get in one of those 6 spots.
That's right. You can tell she's just working through it still, and she'll be there. She just needs time.
Here's one more look at AK Subjects dismount on bars.
And again, kind of let go of the bar just a hair early, which caused the step forward.
All right, as you can see the scores below. After rotation 1, OU goes 49.375. Denver's only a 10th behind them, but we have lots of gymnastics going on still. We have beam going on, we have floor going on, so we're going to bring you more gymnastics than you will just definitely see in a dual competition. As we head over to floor for Lindenwood, the first look at this squad, this is Nikki Bars. A junior, trained at Crystal Lake Gymnastics. She only has competed floor this year, but has competed floor every single competition.
I was most impressed not only of their choreography, but their tumbling. And speaking with their coach yesterday, oh, she nailed it. They're so excited just to be, to celebrate even competing at all. And I love the attitude that she brings and this team brings to gymnastics. It reminds us to be grateful and blessed that they get to do their natural talent. Every week, any weekend that they get to do it, they're just grateful. And they're also good. They're grateful and good.
Nice,
Look
Rudy.
at that, very cool. Their choreography is just so fun to watch.
Now, Lindenwood's lead-off gymnast, Cindy Lopez, had an 8.825, so this team hoping to drop that score, but it puts the pressure on the rest of the athletes.
Well, you can hardly tell that she's nailing her routines. One thing to watch for as you watch the rest of tonight's broadcast is on floor when they land and they take a lunge forward or backward, they can't move their feet around. They can't slide their feet, and that's a deduction, and it's a really hard one to see unless you're looking at the feet.
Heading over to balance beam, again, the first look for Texas Women's University. This is Alexandra Pierce.
Talk about being grateful and having a blessing. She transferred from South Pacific. Is that what it's called? Anyway, unfortunately, they dropped their program, and so to the lucky Texas Women's University, they got another great, outstanding athlete.
Now TWU
Look at that.
has had a fall already on this event. Dami Bonzagni went 8.45, so similar to floor, these teams, it puts the extra pressure on them to hit, to be able to drop that fall score. One more look at the dismount here.
Watch her nail it.
Nice, blind landing.
Yeah, hard to see, and yet her feet stuck like glue.
Here's your anchor on floor. This is Kendall Bays, following a 9.725. So she just needs to hit, and they drop that 8.825 in that leadoff spot from Sydney Lopez.
Well, I don't know about you, Meg, but usually if we had to replace a score, I mean, the best place to do it is floor exercise. You always think, oh, how hard is it to fall off the floor?
Well, get this, she only went 9-0 last week on floor exercise,
okay.
so pressure's on. So far, so good.
Perfect. You know, one thing that I was unfamiliar with is how, like in a Division II school, we were talking to the coach, and she said, oh yes, we share our training with a private gymnastics school. And I thought, how fortunate these Division I colleges are to have their own training facility.
This routine has showed tremendous difficulty. I know we mentioned that Lindenwood is only a Division II school, but she opened up with a double pike and then went double tuck. That's harder than a lot of your top 10 schools.
Absolutely. Oh, it looks like she's going to be okay. And a landing like that, that's the biggest concern. It's not at that point whether they fall or not. It's that she's not hurt. She looks to be okay.
Here's Madeline Gose on balance beam, and this coaching staff is so excited about this athlete. She's just a freshman, but man, she competes on 3 events every single meet and has continued to find success this year.
She's just mentally tough, and she is always on her game. One thing you're going to want to watch as she gets closer to the dismount is how high she just, flies off the beam on her dismount. Right here. Pow. So
nice routine. She has a wild story. I mean, just a freshman. Because of COVID-19 and protocols, she couldn't practice in her home state in California. She arrived on campus and was already behind. She figured out a way to get in shape, and they were so impressed by her never giving up, never getting down on herself. She was able to just get her skills back, get back in shape, and now look at her. She's competing 3 events.
And they say attitude is everything. So that's a perfect example. And this is what these athletes do. I mean, these coaches teach them that from such a young age, and that's why they are here, and they've made it to this level.
Unfortunately, Kendall Bays, the anchor on floor, only goes 8.925, so they will have to count that score towards their floor score because the leadoff went 8.825. And now Alexandra Pierce scored a 9.775 on beam. The score is already in for Madeline Gose, also a 9.775. And we will have one last competitor on the balance beam. Similar to what Denver did, they will have an exhibition routine. This will be Steely King. Now again, this score will not count towards the beam total, but really great experience.
Well, and especially for a freshman, of all people, they need their freshmen to be in a pressure situation. That's her flight series, which is required.
Right on top of the balance beam.
You know, it's interesting too. Wow, check that out.
That is so difficult.
Right.
Wow.
It might be the hardest beam skill we see tonight. I kid you not.
Well, you know, with Audrey Davis taking out her Anoti, that might top it, that punch front.
And she is in an exhibition hall, Division II. I mean, she has potential. For, I know that Coach Bowerman is thrilled to have her.
Just the dismount here for Steely King.
You know, and Denton's not that far from Norman, Oklahoma, so I'm hoping in the future that more fans will be able to come up from Texas to watch the Texas Women's University team and also the Oklahoma Sooners.
One more look on a great routine.
She looks so calm, just like, okay, just gonna do my routine today.
All right, that's going to do it for the first rotation, the opening rotation to this quad meet. Oklahoma goes 49.375. Denver just 1/10 behind, 49.275. Texas Women's 48.425. And Lindenwood goes 47.8. We will have the second rotation coming up after this break.
Sooner Sports TV is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Riverwind, still the one. The OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies, bringing the Sooner family to you wherever you are. Degrees online, on site, on your schedule.
As we welcome you back inside the Lloyd Noble Center, one rotation down as we head to the second rotation. One more look at the scores. OU 49.375, Denver 49.275, TWU 48.425, and Lindenwood 47.8. It is a special night for Oklahoma head coach KJ Kindler. With 3 wins tonight, she will have win number 500 as a career in her entire coaching career. Now, of course, she had 94 wins at Iowa State prior to coming to Oklahoma, but she has had an impressive career.
She really is like the CEO of gymnastics. It's not just the coaching and the choreography. She has just put together this fantastic team, whether it was, she also did that at Iowa State. So she did it here. She's like, I can do it anywhere. Just drop me wherever you need me.
Just 2 weeks ago, KJ Kindler achieved win 400 as the Oklahoma Sooners head coach, and then 2 weeks later, she has she's up for it. She doesn't have career number 500 wins, but she is up for that tonight with 3 wins. Tonight, when I spoke to her, congratulated her, she had no idea that was even a thing. She does not keep track of those wins.
I understand that. She's too busy doing it instead of, looking at it.
Now, as we head into the second rotation, Oklahoma will be on bars, Denver will be on beam, Texas Women's will be on floor, and Lindenwood will be on vault.
Gary Thomas and Audrey Davis. And competing on beam for Denver tonight, Lindsey Brown.
Now we just have a few more seconds heading into this touch, heading into the final rotation. This touch, though, so important mentally. It's not important physically. These athletes know exactly what they're capable of doing, what they should be doing. But mentally, if they mess up in this touch, it could rattle them.
It could, and also it's been probably an hour and a half since they were on that last event, or on the event they're about to compete on. So just to get your hands on the bars and warm up and kind of move through the motion, you're right, it gives them a mental comfort. got sidetracked looking at that beautiful, perfect handstand.
Now, Oklahoma is ranked 3rd on this event. They're actually ranked 2nd on vault. So similar to Denver, they actually start out the competition in Olympic order, of course, on their best 2 events. And both teams neck and neck right now, with Denver kind of taking advantage of a few Oklahoma mishaps on vault. Not huge mishaps, but bigger steps than they normally are capable of doing.
That's right, and I think these 2 events will be key for each team. Denver, if they hit beam, they're super confident going into floor and vault.
Here's Lindenwood on vault. That's Sydney Lopez. Again, 4 teams, 4 events going at the same time.
It's really hard to feel that or sense that if you're not sitting in the stands or out on the floor. I mean, watching it on TV, you're kind of seeing one event, one girl at a time. But it does feel like a circus, and so you have to stay in your bubble. You know, you have to really get in a zone and ignore everything else that's going on.
This is Olivia Troutman. She's been dealing with a foot injury this season. This will be her 2nd time back in the bar lineup, but 1st time here at home.
Well, Coach Kimler was thrilled at how she performed the 1st time back, nailing her landing.
And that was a last-minute lineup change, actually. She was thrown into bars for the 1st time this season, crushed it. She is mentally strong.
She is, and we'll see if she can do the landing again tonight. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And each week, she's just going to get stronger and stronger.
One more look at her double layout dismount from a different angle.
She just needs time. She just needs more numbers, and this is, at least she's back, but we're not sure.
Heading over to beam, Lindsey Brown. She is the anchor on most events, the lead off on beam, but still so impressive in this spot.
One thing I've noticed watching her, she's so smooth. She does remind me of the late Diane Durham, because Diane, like Lindsey, is beautiful to watch. She's graceful, and yet she's also powerful.
Now, this Denver coaching staff has give and take with her this year. They rest her on beam sometimes. They rest her on floor sometimes. Not sure if we'll see her on floor, but man, she does a double layout, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it after coming from an Achilles tear last year. So rare, but it is so amazing. And here is Catherine Lavasser, the freshman on bars. Look at these lines.
You know, the judges are really looking at their body line in relation to the bar. So it has to be right on top. Even that handstand was a shy short. But not that. That was a perfect landing.
One more look. Back-to-back double layouts. Back-to-back sticks for Oklahoma.
Well, that's going to make Coach Kindler happy to have those sticks.
Over to beam. This is Abby Thompson following Lindsey Brown's 9.875.
Oh, darn. A fall like that so early in the lineup, as you have mentioned, it does put pressure, especially on balance beam, for the rest of the team to have a tendency to want to hold back instead of be aggressive. And haven't you noticed how a lot of athletes, after they fall, they get up, and then all of a sudden they become this
aggressive.
And
yeah.
I'm like, you should have done that.
They're mad.
That's right.
Mad beam tends to be good beam.
That's true.
Just a freshman trained at Orlando Metro.
She has an outstanding floor routine, so although that wasn't her best, hopefully we'll see it on the floor.
All right. Here's a look at Reagan Smith. We haven't seen her in a couple weeks, dealing with a stinger in that ankle, but she is back on bars tonight.
Wow.
She's strong.
You might have heard me inhale just briefly, only because of the way she finished her pack salto. So on top of the bar. She didn't have the strength. She would not.
Wow.
Nice. Excellent. She knows it's great, and she needs that confidence the whole day. That's 3 sticks in a row for the Sooners.
3 double layouts, 3 sticks. That is impressive. One more look. Now we should note that angle you see her legs come apart. Judges can't see that angle. They're looking at the event differently, and they don't see that her legs separate in that double layout.
That's true.
Catherine Lavasser goes 9.925 following Olivia Troutman's 9.85. Heading back over to beam, this is Riley Mundell.
This is my favorite beamer team.
Wow.
Of the night, and she hasn't even gone yet. I was watching her preparing for today, and she has some really a creative mount that just college gymnasts, they don't do anymore. And being a beamer myself, I just am crazy about her routine.
Well, career high 9.925, and I mentioned a career high. She's only had a few months of a career. She's a freshman.
Right here it is. Not even the best angle, but rolling over your body like that.
It's harder than it looks.
It is. Not only that, it hurts. And most athletes, I'll say, try this, and they say, no way, that hurts.
No, thank you. Nice flight series. Love the extension in the legs.
Right.
And we have a 2-box Anastasia Webb over on bars. Look at this pack salto, the biggest one in NCAA gymnastics.
Absolutely.
Maloney half right up to the high bar.
Hard to know when to watch and when to watch one and when to stop watching the other. Nice excellent for Anastasia Webb.
She has struggled on that dismount this year. Gets it done tonight. Really happy for her.
Well, and to think over on balance beam, they had a fall. She's performing like that didn't even matter. Doesn't seem to bother her at all. So a nice hit routine for the Sooners, which they need. Anastasia needed it for her own confidence, and then a wonderful, wonderful balance beam routine. What a competition.
Reagan Smith scores a 9.875 in that 3rd spot. Abby Thompson goes 9.075. And we're going to take one more look at Kelly's favorite mount of the night, the rollover. I don't know what you call that, rollover?
Side roll.
Side roll.
So pretty. So pretty. Just want to go hug her. Dang COVID.
Here's Carrie Thomas. This is our Sooner to watch tonight. She has been so impressive this year. She is a solid competitor. I feel like every time I watch her, she's going to hit. I trust her.
That's true. When you're watching from afar, there is a sense of either anxiety or comfort to watch. Maggie Nichols was that girl. She went, you're like, yeah, here she goes. No big deal. She's going to hit. Same with Carrie.
Anastasia Webb scores a 9.85. Great handstand to start.
So far, so good. Poor Thomas. I love how she extends in that handstand.
She almost bounces on the low bar. Locked shoulders.
Oh, look at that line. It's something she has enhanced coming here, or coming to Oklahoma.
Way to hold that stick. She had some knees there, and that takes a lot of strength to not take a step.
It does. Maybe we'll get a chance to see that here.
Okay, we'll be able to see the landing better from this angle. See how she almost squats a little too much. And composed. It's like I do this all the time.
Right. Didn't seem to faze her.
Heading back over to beam, this is Alexandria Ruiz.
She is very pleasant to watch, too. I've noticed her through the years. You know, she's tiny, and so you don't see these long lines as well. She's only 5 foot tall.
She's competed in the all-around every single competition this year.
Oh, wow. Awesome. You might hear that scream, and that is a great vault you just missed. And another fantastic step landing for Denver.
There's just a lot going on. There is a lot going on right now. One more look at Ruiz on beam. This is her dismount.
Again, well, it's not blind. You can see it right there. But to do a gainer, I don't know about you. That always scared me a little bit, to do a gainer. And so, but she sees the landing just perfect.
Okay, Audrey Davis, this is my favorite bar routine of the night. Watch this eagle grip, an inverted L-bar grip. Wow. It is so hard.
Right into the release move.
One of the higher Pike Jaegers in NCAA gymnastics. And she'll do another eagle grip into her dismount because one isn't enough, Kelly.
She seems to have it all. See if she can find the landing.
Double front, blind landing. There it is.
She did it.
What a night the freshman is having. She sticks her 1.5 on vault. She sticks her double front on bars.
What did they put on her feet anyway?
Now take one more look at the eagle grip I was talking about. It is so, it doesn't look hard, but if you put your hands on the table and invert them 180 degrees, now lift them up above your head. It takes
hold on.
So much flexibility. It's so difficult.
It is. You know, I'm always like, go get the broomstick at your house right now and try that position, and you'll realize the flexibility in the shoulders and the wrist. You don't even think, oh, her wrists have to be flexible too.
Heading back over to beam, Ruiz goes 9.825 as we head over to the 5th spot for the Pioneers. Wow, that's not easy. Switch half.
And clean, then he combines it with the split jump right after.
Isabel Mobanta.
Finishes. Good. Great routine. Could have stepped the landing, but a great routine.
Score is in for Audrey Davis. She scores a 9.95.
Makes you wonder where they're taking that deduction. You know, she nailed the landing. It's so hard being a blind move. Much harder to land that than it is a double layout.
Which everyone else does.
Correct.
In that lineup.
And it's original. So, I don't know. I might be having a conference with the judge if I was Coach Kendler.
Well, Audrey Davis is actually capable of doing a half out of that double front. She has yet to throw it. But if she did that half out, she'd be able to spot that landing. But Kelly, quite honestly, when you stick the blind landing, I don't know if you change it.
Yeah, well, not only that, it's actually so much harder to stick going forward than it is halving out. So, I don't know, something I'll have to review and think through.
Now again, lots of gymnastics left. Both beam and floor underway.
From Bixby, Oklahoma. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Back on beam.
I'm sorry, you changed it on me.
This is Alexis Vasquez now. She's an All-American on beam. She has scored a 10 on this event, and it is well-deserved. This routine is incredible. Great start with that flight series, back handspring layout, step out.
And upcoming, she has this very unique turn that most people, again, would not take.
Oh, switch half.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Woo. When you say a gymnast is smooth and has this full split, and there's that turn I was talking about. It's not necessary. All they have to do is a full turn, and she does one with her leg up.
Well, it's not the flashy tumbling on the balance beam, but man, it is difficult.
Well, and you might not have seen her mount. Her mount was this chest stand roll down, and so she's bringing it all, and that's what is so exciting to watch from any gymnast when they try to do what nobody else is doing. It's not just the hard tumbling or the full split, but it's a creative mount. It's a cool or creative turn.
One more look at the dismount here. Side aerial back full. I love the set. The set is so distinct. She doesn't take that turn right off the beam. She really shows that set.
Well, that's the variety of gymnastics.
As we head back over to floor, that was Daisy Woodring. Nice double tuck to finish out that routine. Again, very difficult. It's impressive what these teams are capable of doing.
Absolutely.
We'll take one more look at that last pass for Daisy.
There you see the power, especially for a last only pass when you're tired. She didn't move that front. I mean, it might have wiggled a touch, but it didn't slide.
Alexis Vasquez goes 9.875 in the anchor spot for Denver. And this is Jessica Hutchinson, just an exhibition. The Pioneers really looking to get some more experience for some of these athletes who have been out because of COVID and contact tracing.
It's definitely one thing that head coach Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt is working on, is the consistency, the momentum, on balance beam especially. You want to compete. If you're going to have to compete at the end of the season, you want to compete at the beginning of the season on balance beam. And that was so easy, combining a jump out of her front aerial, a D element.
Oklahoma will score a 49.475 on bars, a great rotation for them.
Good landing, solid routine. They could use that one too.
Denver will score a 49.225 on beam, so Oklahoma wins that event by about 2/10. Denver's going to want to keep it close on these next two events as we head back over to floor. This is Madeline Gosay. We talked about it in the first rotation, but this coaching staff so excited about this freshman.
Look at that. Little out of control on the landing. But big tumbling, big leaps.
That will be a 1/10 deduction if the judge is flagged for her stepping out of bounds. I wasn't watching the judge, so I'm not sure.
So she can front tumble too. I love seeing the combination of both.
She's following Daisy Woodring, who goes 9.725 in that fifth spot, as Madeline Gosay is the anchor on this event.
Bringing a little personality out.
Last pass ends with a Rudy.
So the landing is good on that one. It should be a good score. I think she pointed right at us, Meg.
That's what it seemed. Here's one more look at that first pass.
Yeah, we'll get a chance here to see if she did step out of bounds. So you see how they have the mat marked?
Does she step over
sure
the tape?
did. She sure did.
Okay, and the judge saw it. You see the judge lift her arm. That means that 1/10 deduction will be taken. Here's the last pass for Gosay.
The front handspring right into a 1.5 twist, which is called a Rudy.
One more athlete for TWU. Just an exhibition routine. This is Alex Pierce from Saskatoon, triathlon.
Good for you.
Thank you. I practiced that one. She trained at Marion Gymnastics Club. It's funny, we can see all of these athletes. Everyone's dancing. Denver just had a little dance party over there as Alex Pierce waits to compete on floor. All right, here we go. Taylor Swift off. Floor music on.
No kidding. And she also knows everyone's watching at this point. You know, there isn't the event going, and she realizes that. So sometimes that can add a little pressure. Some people thrive in it.
Well, especially if you have fans for the first time.
Well, good point. She opens with a front double full, which doesn't look that hard, but it is.
Well, in comparison, that's Anastasia Webb's first pass.
That's true.
It's not as easy.
I'd like to see the difference in the type of music that is here tonight. There's a classical piece here. More emotion is able to pull out. Just different than the hip hop and bouncy and jumpy and fun.
Has a career high 9.825 as she heads into her second pass.
Wow.
Nice combo.
Quite a twister.
So far, this is the exact same routine as Anastasia Webb. Front double full,
Tumbling.
back 1.5, front full. Yes, in terms of tumbling. Looks like we'll have 2 passes only, however.
Still, I know that the coaches a lot of times do that sometimes in the middle of the season to rest an athlete. They have a routine for 3 passes, and they also have a different routine for 2 passes.
Well, and we've talked about this in the year of COVID-19. Maybe reps aren't there. Some of these athletes not as in the shape they might want to be, so they do opt for 2 passes for safety reasons.
That's right, yeah, the lack of endurance, perhaps.
All right, as you see, rotation 2 underway. 98.85 for Oklahoma, 98.5 for Denver. Texas Women's goes 96.975. And Lindenwood has a 96.675. We'll have the 3rd rotation coming up after this.
Sooners Sports TV is brought to you by Riverwind, still the one. Kincaid Coach Lines, the official motor coach carrier of Sooner Athletics. Pizza Hut, home of the original stuffed crust pizza. Taco Mayo, fresh ingredients built to order. Love's Travel Stops, clean places, friendly faces.
Halfway through this quad meet here inside the Lloyd Noble Center as we take a look at a score update brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, airing, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Now, as you can see, Oklahoma has given themselves more of a lead after 2 rotations. They were only up by 1/10 of a point after 1 rotation on number 10 Denver. That lead is now over 3/10 of a point, which they'll want to keep that up with a nice 49.475 on bars. Denver goes 49.275 on bars. Beam 49.225. Texas Women's goes 48.55 in that second rotation for them. And Lindenwood scores a 48.875 on vault in their second rotation. Now here's a look at Kincaid Coach Lines, the upcoming Sooner events, the official motor coach carrier of Oklahoma Athletics. Women's tennis hosts SMU tomorrow at noon, and check that out. Big week for men's basketball. Your 7th-ranked Oklahoma men's basketball team, an in-state rivalry versus Oklahoma State here inside the Lloyd Noble Center. And also, just days later, they'll host Texas, another rival for the men's basketball team, hoping to close out this regular season with a couple more wins. And of course, women's basketball will host Texas Tech on March 1st at 6 p.m. We'll have that call on Fox Sports Oklahoma. As we head into the third rotation, we're halfway through this competition. Oklahoma will be on beam, Denver will be on floor, Texas Women's will be on vault, and Lindenwood will be on bars. Now check this graphic out, Kelly. I am so excited when we had this idea to show this graphic because the last time Oklahoma was at home, they hosted West Virginia. They went 47.85. Now, granted, there were a few falls that had to be counted. Since then, this Oklahoma gymnastics team has basically scored 2 points above that home score versus West Virginia. That is a lot. That is a huge improvement for one rotation.
I'm sure Coach Kindler wants to forget all about that 47, not just this year, but every year going forward. That seemed like such a fluke, and it was awful to witness.
Well, that meet ended up being the lowest team score in KJ's Oklahoma career. So yeah, I think you could say KJ would definitely like to forget that, but they have rallied since then. They have figured something out, and realistically it starts with this lead-off athlete in Jenna Dunn, a Oklahoma native. She trained at Bart Connors Gymnastics, but man, she is a solid athlete on this event. She only trains beam as well. Only trains, only competes, starts out this routine with a triple flight. It's impressive.
One thing I love about her is that she wants this position and she has fought for it. She has continually shown Coach Kindler, I want to be in this lineup.
She deserves it. Check this out, triple flight, so difficult. Right on.
There's a required leap combination. You can either step into it or jump. There's that just basic required full turn. She has a short routine, but a step routine, and that's exactly how you want to start off balance beam.
Career high 9.925 as we take one more look at this flight series to open up this routine. Back handspring, lay out, step out.
Look right there, just a hair, but she,
Little off.
just a hair. Like, and I'm not even sure a judge would notice it from the side.
When you see it right head on, it is more obvious her shoulder dips.
Right, and the other thing that, if when we get this score in, or see it, that her chest is a little bit low on that dismount. I mean, she did stick, but, I mean, when you're first up, they're unlikely going to throw the highest score of the rotation. So we might, when you get nitty-gritty picky, that might be one of the reasons why.
Evie Schofer next for Oklahoma, the senior out of Ames, Iowa, trained at Triad Gymnastics, getting the famous KJ Kindler beam top. Going through that routine, some final notes. Talk about an athlete who has who's had a fantastic senior season.
She really has, and just to bring what she does not only to the vault lineup, I mean, she's available on every event, and I think that's one thing that is great about the Sooner in every program usually. They do train their athletes on every event, just in case. Jenna, not sure. Jenna Dunn, I'm not sure. She
Just
might.
beam.
Just
Nope,
beam.
just beam.
Just trains beam.
Just
wow.
trains beam.
Generally, that's not the case, but I
She's
think
a
that
true
also
beam specialist,
yeah. Oh my goodness. On floor exercise, we just saw from Denver a beautiful pike pull in. It looks like they're having a conference, on balance beam, waiting on a score.
One thing to note about Denver on floor, they have hard tumbling passes, full ins, double layouts. It is so impressive. impressive and fun to watch.
It really is. I mean, when I started watching them warming up and in a couple earlier competitions, I was like, how many passes do you have?
Well, check this out. Rosie Casali will finish with a 2.5 punch front. That is not an easy last pass. There it is.
Wow.
Oh, just out of bounds.
It stepped out of bounds. Unfortunate. You know, that's a big deduction. I mean, it sounds like, oh, she stepped out 1/10 off. It's a big, you need that 1/10. You need every 10th.
If you're trying to win a national championship, those 10ths add up quickly.
Well, it looks like Evie is starting off fantastic. That handspring layout was just spot on. There's her side aerial. Now that was to be combined into that switch leap. And the reason for that, it also upgrades and gives her a different start value and bonus. Ooh, that's a nice save.
She's working through this.
You know what? A stick is a stick all day long. It just makes you feel more, you know, consistent. I mean, even if you don't want to have a great routine, a clean, great routine, and then a fall when you can just have a bumpy one. You know what I'm saying? With you got to work through it, and then that also still gives you the confidence going forward. So she worked through it. Good for her.
Jenna Dunn starts out beam with a 9.9. That is an impressive score in that leadoff position. And if we look at Denver on floor, Alexandria Ruiz scores a 9.825 in that leadoff position. Also very impressive. Fortunately, Rosie Casali goes 9.65. I assume they took that 1/10 deduction. Didn't see her first pass, but we caught it for the last pass. Heading back over to vault for Texas Women's University.
Yikes.
That's
Unfortunately,
Steely King.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, she didn't have quite enough height in order to make that landing.
Here's Lindenwood on bars. This is Riley Daniels. Double layout.
Double layout. This is what we were talking about early on, how fantastic these Division II routines are.
Just the dismount here. Heading back over to floor for Denver.
You know, not all the coaches do their own choreography. I know that Coach Reinhardt, she subcontracts it out for their choreography, whereas Coach Kendler does her own.
Isabel actually made her floor debut last week, as this is Vanessa Denise on balance beam.
Oh, a little out of control. It's hard to do those bouncing rebounds out of tumbling. But their choreography is so fun. Really like it.
Vanessa Denise falls on her flight series.
That is not good, and it puts everyone else in a little bit of an uncomfortable position.
Evie Schofer scores a 9.75. Now that flight series is no joke. Changing direction with the side aerial straight into the back handspring. If you're off just a hair, it can be costly.
That's right. I am shocked how many gymnasts this year are doing that combination, or they'll do aerial into layout, and I'm like, you've got to be crazy. That's one of the hardest combinations. Just let's do backhand lay.
Finishes out strong though for Vanessa Denise. Take one more look at this flight series.
You know what? She looked on. She just didn't pull her chest up and finish the element. It's like she doubted herself a little bit.
At the very end of the back handspring, it looked like she just didn't quite get there.
She just didn't pull her arms up and get her chest up on top of her feet.
All right, heading back over to floor. This is Emily Glynn, senior from Longmont, Colorado. she's following a 9.475, and Rosie Casali went 9.65. So both OU and Denver opening the door to each other almost.
That's right.
It does make this competition more even.
That's true. I thought the same thing when I saw the score just now. I thought a 9.47. Well, what makes you wonder? I mean, the Sooners definitely want to drop Vanessa Denise's score. And here we have a freshman following that routine for the Sooners. Will she let it get to her or not? We will see.
There is a judges conference on floor exercise, hence the wait for Emily Glenn, as Audrey Davis gets set for her routine.
Well, a lot of times they have these conferences because the start value is not, they haven't determined the same start value. Therefore, they have to come together and say, now, wait a second, I saw this and I saw that. So it is important, and it really does make a difference in the final total score. So you want them to do that.
I love this mount for Audrey Davis. It is not difficult, but look at that split. It is beautiful.
It's nice to show off what you can do well, and her flexibility and
she does a lot of things well.
Extension is just gorgeous. She's really a poised athlete, so it would surprise me if the fall before her rattles her at all.
Just a little bobble.
True, but I'm not so sure that that was caused from nerves, you know? I mean, like, you watch from the end, she was off.
Now, she added that front aerial in just a few weeks ago. She took the Anodi out and was having maybe some minor issues with it, took that out, added the front aerial because she has so many skills on beam, she can just pick them.
That's right.
Nice start to Emily Glenn on floor, front through to double back.
All right, that's how the Sooners get back on track. Kind of makes everyone take a sigh.
Deep breath. Vanessa Denise scores a 9.1. So Audrey Davis, like you said, getting things back on track. Now, Isabel Mabanta's score was upgraded to a 9.525. So that judges conference gave her a 10th extra in that routine.
One thing I've noticed is that Denver really, their choreographer, the mystery choreographer, did a fantastic job of utilizing each athlete's attributes and strengths.
I believe Emily ends with a double pike here.
That's right. She needs to nail the landing to say and she did. Notice that front foot did not move, and that is so critical because every single tenth counts, especially when you've had to count a 9.525.
There's her last pass.
That was pretty good considering she bounced when she landed. I mean, it's hard to, you gotta have a lot of strength in your core. Aw. I glanced up on the screen and saw that precious face that Carrie Thomas is using.
Audrey Davis scores a 9.75, and we mentioned Carrie Thomas is our Sooner to watch in the Open. Since she has been put back into the beam lineup, KJ inserted her in that 5th spot. She has gone back-to-back weeks and scored a 9.95 career highs.
They could use it today. Slight bobble. Grandma wouldn't notice that, but I'm just letting you know there was a tiny little bobble.
Earlier in the season, she was earlier in this beam lineup, and she was taken out for a couple weeks. She had a hip flexor issue, so that was for safety precautions, and then they put her in that 5th spot just 2 weeks ago.
And that's a really neat turn, the way she did that facing the side. So, something to note. And there's her dismount. Oh.
And this is also Jessica Hutchinson on floor, following Emily Glenn's 9.825.
Just fun music. This is where you certainly miss not having a crowd that would clap along with you, and it gives you energy. Easy peasy for her.
Jessica will finish with a Rudy to a big straddle jump. A great combo last pass.
It's a matter of controlling the landing and tighten her core. Excellent. And she was straight up vertical. Love this. Nice routine.
No real high fives for the Denver Pioneers, air high fives, because we are still very much in a global pandemic. I know I'm happy we have sports, I'm happy we have live gymnastics, but taking those safety protocols is important. Here's our last pass, the Rudy to the straddle jump. As we head back over to beam, Anastasia Webb is absolutely phenomenal on this event. She throws hard skills, but man, her dance, she's so fluid in this balance beam routine.
She is. It's just crisp, clean.
Anastasia has 2 career 10s, 1 on beam from her freshman year on the road at UCLA for the win, and 1 on vault just 2 weeks ago.
She's fully capable of getting a 10 again, and I'm shocked she hasn't had one yet this year.
I agree.
Not so sure what they were waiting for. Now that was a major error. She generally would take 4 10s.
You could say up to 5.
I couldn't tell if she actually grabbed.
I couldn't tell either, but that was a huge break in the hips.
And again, it's horrible that she had that break and it's a 4 10s, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's still better than a fall. It just is.
The Sooners will want to count this score over Vanessa Denise's 9-1.
Oh, too bad. Everything else about the routine was perfect.
We'll take one more look at the mistake from Anastasia Webb from a different angle.
So
the front aerial.
Right. She lands.
Oh, I'm still not sure if she touched or not. Her hands went over the beam. Here's her dismount.
Well, we'll know in a minute when the judges give the score, because
it almost looked like she didn't know she was off until she was off.
That's right. It was almost like, wait a second, this is some familiar territory.
Okay, this might be the highlight of the meet on floor. Lindsey Brown, and she opens up with a double layout. It is a huge tumbling pass. Watch this.
She does it so easy.
Oh my
Second
gosh.
one goes higher. Second one goes higher. No kidding. Now
looks easy.
Let's just listen up and watch.
She commands the room.
She does, and you know what? What a cute personality. She's got a gorgeous smile, and I love it when she doesn't smile the whole time, which then looks fake. She just brings it out when she means it. Her technique is really so divine.
Hey. I love this.
Right. Makes you go, I think I need this floor music on my playlist. Oh,
wow.
Sky high, so super easy for her.
She kicks out of that double pike. Last pass, that floor routine. Come on, you can win a national championship
Yes.
on that floor routine alone. That is incredible. We're going to take one more look at this opening pass. The double layout doesn't happen very often in college gymnastics, but she does it phenomenally.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, it's as good as Trinity Thomas. I mean, that's why I'm comparing. I just watched her last night, and I was just like, wow.
Look how she
at that.
kicks
Yeah,
out.
she does have to kick out. It's almost like just do another double A.
And back over to Carly Woodard. This is just an exhibition routine for Carly, and I actually caught up with her earlier. She's only trained about one routine prior to this, so this is her second routine.
Yeah. Wow. I know that the Sooners really count on her to be in the lineup. They definitely mentally count on her as a given.
Wow, Anastasia Webb scores a 9.7. That
is a surprise.
That seems like a gift to me.
Yes.
I'll say it.
Yeah, thank you.
Carly Woodard.
I agree, everything else was perfect in her routine. However, I mean, she was seconds from grabbing the beam, so that's clearly a 4/10 deduction. But watch this floor routine. I love it.
This is Abby Thompson, just an exhibition for Denver.
Oh, imagine. Watch her tumbling. Check this out. Mounts super high, double pike.
You're just excited for the last pass.
You betcha I am.
I am too.
Because
hardest last pass
it was my first pass in the Olympics, and I'm like, she's doing it as her last pass.
I actually feel confident saying this is the hardest third pass in this competition.
This is the hardest floor routine. This is the hardest tumbling for sure out of everybody in the, and she's in an exhibition. I'm kind of confused. It doesn't hurt that she's dancing to Prince.
Not at all.
You know, but we don't always know the backstory. I mean, she could be sore from doing something, and they were trying to rest her, and she's like, no, I'm good.
All right, we made it to the third pass. This is a huge triple twist E pass.
3 twists.
Wow. So hard.
And I've seen her land that so much better. I mean, there is a little bit of a landing issue, but put her in the lineup, coach. Beautiful, pretty stunning routine.
We're gonna take one more look at that last pass, that triple full. It is so difficult, and she ends with it.
Watch here. She turns so early off the floor. I mean, that's not the way I was coached, for sure. You've got to get a little bit of a set first. But she just, wow, pulls it around.
The score is in for Lindsey Brown, 9.975. So one judge scored her a 10, the other a 9.95. Hey, I'm on team 10 right now for Lindsey Brown. All right, that's going to do it for us after the third rotation. Oklahoma leads by 0.2, less than 0.2 of a point. They're 147.85 to Denver's 147.675. TWU 145.2 and Lindenwood 145.075. We'll be back in the fourth rotation after this.
The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.tv/podcast. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind. Love's Travel Stops. Clean places, friendly faces. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center as we have one last rotation in this quad meet. Oklahoma is up by less than 0.2 of a point over Denver heading into floor as we take a look at the top 10 rankings brought to you by the OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies, bringing the Sooner family to you wherever you are. Degrees online, on site, on your schedule. Check it out. You have a couple SEC teams at the top. That's Florida, LSU. Oklahoma has been climbing those rankings in the past couple of weeks. Then you have Utah, Michigan, Arkansas, Alabama, Minnesota, California, and of course, the Denver Pioneers here at this competition. Take a look at the road ahead, brought to you by Buick GMC GMC, see your Central Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. Last home competition for the Oklahoma Sooners in 1 week, March 5th versus BYU. It is senior night for 5 seniors at 6:45 p.m. Then they're on the road at Texas Women's and Iowa State before going to the Big 12 Championship on March 20th. But guys, senior night, if you can get out to the Lloyd Noble Center, if you're comfortable and you follow the COVID protocols, of course, 5 seniors who really deserve some fans and some support in what has been a difficult season.
That's true. You kind of forget that whole aspect of how tenuous it has been for them. You just, 1 minute it's on, next minute it's off, and I think, that is just, it plays in their mind. And will this happen again? Will something different happen again? I mean, the mind tricks can play such horrible tricks on an athlete, so they have to be mentally strong going forward.
And of course, in gymnastics and in every sport in the NCAA, they do get an extra year of eligibility because of COVID-19. So this is almost a free year, but that doesn't mean that they're able to come back. That is a team decision. That is a coaching staff decision, as we will get this 4th rotation underway starting on vault. This is Rosie Casali. And one more note on the senior situation. I don't think they're actually decided yet. I think some of them have thought about coming back, some of them haven't. I know Evie Schofer has gotten into dental school at the University of Iowa, so that's a decision she'll have to make, and it won't be an easy decision for sure.
That's right. These young athletes are having to make some adult decisions. Welcome to the real world.
Well, and you know what? These seniors, if you're 22, 23, it's tough on your body. The sport
That's right.
is really tough.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
We're going to 2-box this opening rotation with Jordan Draper, who starts off the Sooners on floor.
Jordan has also just transformed, I think, in the last year. Just worked so hard. You think, oh, I can't get better during COVID. She sure has.
One of the seniors that will be celebrated next Friday from Bedford, Texas.
These landings are going to determine everything if Denver plans or expects to pull out a win here.
Now again, Denver's only behind by less than 0.2 of a point, so these landings are everything.
Jordan's energy and personality that she brings is certainly going to be missed if she decides to go on.
She has been such a great leadoff on floor all season long.
Talk about someone you can completely count on.
Whip half Rudy.
Makes it look easy.
I think the whip half is underrated. I think when it's done really well, it's a really cool skill.
So precious. That just defines who she is.
Joy. She is joy. She is the definition of joy.
Get a chance to look at her last pass one more time. Whip half into the Rudy. I love that knee spin too.
Rosie Casali goes 9.75 for Denver in that leadoff spot for vault.
Well, and as we've mentioned before, she only did the Eurochinka full. That's a 995 start value. This is where it really makes a difference.
Emily Glenn on vault.
Really awesome vault. Untraditional. Check that out.
Oh, finds the stick.
Good, very good. That's called a Kosmatsu. It's like a
Sukahara
pole, but it's not. It's just a different technique. And she finds the landing.
That is such a on the ground, not with the suit.
Right.
Here's Evie Schofer.
Yeah, you got to establish power on the run and getting off of the board.
Another senior for Oklahoma. One thing I love about the start to this Oklahoma lineup, Jordan Draper and Evie Schofer, 1 and 2, they're best friends, they're roommates. I just love that they get to go back to back.
Right, you can see how that might be a little bit difficult. They're rooming together. Wow, great score.
Big score for Emily Glenn. She goes 9.925. Hey, that's what it's going to take.
Well, what an exciting and tough competition right to the last event, down to the wire.
That's a career high. Before that, she went 9.875. That was her career high. Half a tenth above that for a 9.925 as Evie Schofer ends with a double pike.
Beautiful landing. You can tell she was pretty stoked about that too. Wow, you can feel the energy in the arena.
Jordan Draper scores 9.875 in the leadoff spot.
Here's another look at her last tumbling pass. Double pike, nails the landing. She's perfectly right on top of her feet.
We'll head back over to vault. Following a big score from Emily Glenn, here's Jessica Hutchinson.
She's got a big vault too. She flares her vault. Now, unfortunately, it is this 9.95 start value, and I see a little bit of form in the air, bent knees, archy. So that's where they separate, right? Oranges and apples.
Well, when we talked about the team score, say it's about a 2/10 difference heading into the final rotation. That's a half-tenth difference just in that vault alone from a 10.0 to a 9.95. So it does play a factor in throwing those Yurchenko 1.5s, but you have to do them well.
That's true.
In order for that to really count.
Absolutely.
Heading back over to floor for Oklahoma.
Well, and Denver has some 1.5s coming up, so I mean, there's potential to get the score up, and it depends on how these Sooners finish out their floor rotation.
Here's Belle Johnson,
Just
only 2 passes.
Yeah.
So she is done tumbling right now. She dances the rest of this floor routine. I think it's really special. She's from Norman, Oklahoma. She grew up watching the Sooners, and now look at her competing for Oklahoma on floor.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome, right here in your hometown.
Evie Schofer goes 9.875, while Jessica Hutchinson goes 9.85.
She has really become a significant member of the floor rotation.
All right, here's Mia Sundstrom, a senior for Denver. We have not seen her often this year, but she is good.
Okay, so she does her full. She's coming back. She's been out for a couple of weeks with the elbow injury and or soreness. So that was great to see her back in the lineup, giving her the opportunity to help Denver possibly come in and win one.
Mia had elbow surgery to end her season in 2020. Of course, before the season was shut down because of the global pandemic, her season was already cut short. She had elbow surgery, and it sounds like she's just coming back from that, and there may have been some soreness this season, but definitely working on getting her back in a few more lineups later on in the season, hopefully for postseason. As we take a look at Emma LaPinta for the Sooners, awaiting the judges as Belle Johnson scores a 9.825, and Lindsey Brown gets set for vault. And we talk about the big Yurchenko 1.5. This is it. Mia Sundstrom scores a 9.775.
It's going to make it difficult for Denver to catch the Sooners unless we see something different in the next couple of vaults.
Emma open to the triple full.
Just like we were talking about, and her landing was spectacular. She has struggled with that in the past. Got some wild excitement over on the uneven bars for Texas women's.
There are some TWU fans in the building.
So here we go on vault.
She's special. That's all I can say. Lindsey Brown is such a special athlete. This one's big.
Oh, she tried too hard. Bless her heart. She was trying to stick that landing, and it's such a fine line to know how hard to go, and then do I try to stick? I mean, or just let it happen. In competition, it's hard, but you know, I'm curious if Lindsey will be one of those athletes who chooses to come back. Her body looks, you know, healthy now that she's had that Achilles tear repaired. I mean, I've torn my Achilles and it feels stronger than the other. Emma LaPenta is finishing up her floor routine.
Yeah, this Denver coaching staff actually said that Lindsey Brown is 100%. She goes 100%. We'll take one more look at Lindsey Brown's Yurchenko 1.5. She's capable of this stick. It's so beautiful when she nails it just a little short. Almost as if she opened up just right before the landing came to her.
Yeah. It could have been pushing through the board a little bit too, because it looks a little bit close to the end of the vault or the table.
Here's Emma's last pass, the double top. Lindsey Brown scores a 9.85. I think she's capable of a 10 if she finds that landing, however.
Certainly. This is also another great vault, though. I have been most impressed with Riley.
Riley Mundell closing out the Denver competition.
Oh, so she just held back and just did her full. She can do it 4.5. I think they know at this point, let's play it safe, or, you know, you don't really know what's going on with her body, too. Like, she could have stung an ankle in practice or whatnot, but she's been a treat for me to watch, not only today, but doing research for tonight. She's delightful.
Here's Vanessa Denise on floor, the sophomore from New Jersey. This music might be one of my favorite pieces of music in NCAA. I asked KJ where it's from. It's from the show Euphoria, the HBO hit starring Zendaya.
Yeah,
she struggled on that last week as well.
It's almost like she ran out of gas. I mean, or that she's just not
Almost
turning
didn't
over.
get the whip quite around where it needed to be, because in the 2.5, you need your shoulders almost to be more back.
Correct.
Compared to a double or a triple, they need to be right on top or even a little forward on that set.
Oh, yikes. You know, every athlete is different, and sometimes when you make a mistake and you have a fall, mentally you can't let go of it. You're doing your whole second part of your routine. You're still thinking about, man, I can't believe I did that. And that is a weakness. I mean, you have to learn to let it go, and most importantly, for safety.
Good last pass. Well, you know what? That puts pressure on Anastasia Webb.
It sure does.
Because that just opened the door for Denver.
Right.
However, Denver is done with vault. Oklahoma still has one more competitor.
Well, and of all people, here we get a chance to look. Oh, yeah. It's hard at that angle to see, but she
Where her
was
shoulders
short.
are.
Yes. She just could not get enough height in order to complete the skill. You know, when I think about Anastasia Webb performing, I think, oh, just kind of like last year, oh, this is one more time to see Maggie Nichols. This is just one more time to see Anastasia Webb. And whether she does another season or not, we don't know. But There's some athletes that are just super special. She is also nominated for the AAI award, which is
The Heisman of gymnastics.
that's right. And so I wish they would just call it that.
I know, why not?
To give our sport a little more credit.
Well,
So
it puts things in perspective.
it does, because most people are like, yeah, so what's that? You know? And
Sure.
then you have to explain it. So perhaps maybe they will change it one day. I don't know. But this athlete is certainly deserving. They have 26 nominees this year, and then they will cut that down to 6 and then select a finalist.
Now enjoy this floor routine from Anastasia Webb. It is a great piece of work. Opens up with a front double twist. Now Vanessa Denise scores a 9.05. Counting that score for the Sooners, they're down about 0.5 of a point.
Yikes.
So Anastasia needs to hit this floor
Has to
routine.
hit this routine. No chance for bobbling. That was smart of her. She was paying attention to that corner. She's like, I'm not stepping out and getting in trouble.
A small mistake like that, OU will win. A big mistake,
Right, a fall.
Denver will win.
For sure. All eyes are on her, my guess.
And I'll tell you what, this last pass, Rudy to an awesome straight jump, arches the back. She has made a mistake on this season. So pressure's on in this last pass.
You see that she has the sting mat on the floor exercise. Help with the landing.
Perfect.
She did it. They're safe. The Sooners are safe.
That will do it for Oklahoma. Oklahoma will get a win tonight, and KJ Kindler gets career win number 500. Here's that last pass. Look at this awesome straight jump. I know it doesn't look hard, but it is
Right.
cool to watch. Out of the frame. She's too high that our cameras can't even get there.
And rebounds.
Beautiful.
Nice and high.
Anastasia Webb scores a 9.9. So Oklahoma will win the competition, but hey, it was pretty close. OU unofficially, of course, goes 197-175. That is with Anastasia Webb's 9.9. Denver will score a 196.875. And we still have gymnastics left as we head over to Beam for Lindenwood. This is a look at Courtney Mitchell. Lindenwood has had a few struggles on this last rotation, an 8.65, an 8.725. Hadley Roberts in that 4th spot scored a 9.5.
Beautiful. Backhand spin layout. Excellent. I love how she spots the end during the middle of the skill, the half. She looks incredibly poised. Oh, I jinxed it, I guess. Again, that's that aggressiveness that you've got to keep pushing through the legs. So this is not exactly like going to be the road scores that Lindenwood or Texas Women's University was looking for coming here to Norman, Oklahoma.
Pretty dismount.
But each time it is a learning lesson and something that they hopefully can take forward. However, I do think this is exactly what Denver was looking for.
196.875 is a great road score for DU. One more look at this pretty dismount here. The cartwheel side gainer.
Yeah, I like how it lifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't just kind of whip it
Come
off
to the side, yeah.
What a great night of watching gymnastics, because everywhere you look, you're seeing something really cool.
Well, Kelly, we're not done yet. We have one more athlete.
Oh, goody.
On the balance beam for Lindenwood. This is Jenna Eagles competing in that exhibition spot. Just a freshman, trained at Twin City Twisters. Same gym as Olivia Troutman and Maggie Nichols in Minnesota.
Well, what great role models that she had. She probably watched them growing up in the gym. I mean, if they were there in high school, then she was probably, you know, quite a youngster. And, I mean, that's exciting to see how, you know, one great athlete can really be a role model for another.
Oh, it just propels the club and takes it to new heights. And she has only competed balance beam one time this season. That was last week. She was just inserted, and granted she's not in the lineup quite yet, but getting that experience is huge for a freshman.
Well, and talk about in a freshman situation, everyone else is done competing, and here she goes, all eyes on her. This is where I'd be like, can you please turn the music up a lot
Yeah,
louder?
you know what? If I were put in this position, I would know that I'm the only one. Some athletes don't pay attention. I would definitely know.
I think she probably does, but this is part of the game, right? It's being great, not only physically, but also mentally.
Hold on.
Reach.
Good save.
You know, this is one of those moments that you'll always talk about. Remember that time. Okay. Goodness gracious, you can tell she's nervous, but she's doing such a great job. Good for her. Good for her. I love that.
All right. And that will definitely be the final routine of the night. What a fun night that we had inside the Lloyd Noble Center. We will get you final scores after this break, but it looks like Oklahoma will come away with the win here at home. We'll be back right after this.
Please stay seated for the announcement of tonight's.
Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Junior Kids Club presented by OG&E. Brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively. Sooner Sports TV Personalities Wardrobe is provided by Mizzen and Main in Class and Curve and Blush on Campus Corner. Hair and makeup provided by Clementine Hair Lounge.
Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center. Meg McDonald here with Kelly Garrison Funderburk, and we have head coach KJ Kindler with us. KJ, first of all, congrats on career win number 500. How have you grown as a coach over the years?
Oh gosh, where should I start? I remember my first loss, I can tell you that. It was the first meet of my career as a head coach, and actually it was at BYU, and I remember it distinctly because I thought, this is not that fun. I don't like this. I want to win. So I think just, you know, over time, obviously, I've been able to coach so many amazing women who, you know, have given us their 4 years or their 5 years and really done their best, worked their hardest. They're all amazing, and really anything that we do is a testament to what they have done in the gym. So I don't really look at it as anything so great for me.
It certainly is something that you should be celebrated for, however.
That's right, that's right. Coach, this is Kelly. I wanted to ask you, tonight you had just a few bumps in the road, but what are the positives that you pull from tonight?
Well, the positive is definitely a few things. Audrey Davis on vault, sticking your vault. She's done it twice, stuck it cold again tonight. I think that's a really good glimpse of the future for vault for us. And also, I would say the entire bar squad. much better dismounts, a lot of sticking, had to fight for those scores, and this was our best bar performance of the year, so we're very proud of that. That's definitely the positives we'll pull away from today.
KJ, we know we've talked about this. It's been such a unique year. But as the regular season comes to a close and senior night is just 7 days away, how nice would it be to have a crowd here to support these 5 seniors and send them off in a special way, because this year has not been an easy task?
Come on now, it's going to be a sellout. I just know the Sooner fans are going to come out. There probably won't be a ticket available anywhere, you know. You could probably get some good cash for a ticket to this meet, because let me tell you, this is the best show in town, and I know our seniors are looking forward to the night. It's a big night for them, and it's been such a weird year and a half for them. You know, this is very emotional and tough to go through, and then of course to have your senior night during a pandemic is certainly unique. So we're looking forward to having lots of fans filling the stands as much as we're allowed to do, and having our Sooner fans appreciate and enjoy our seniors one more time.
KJ, congrats on career win number 500. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was head coach KJ Kindler as we bring you to the Taco Mayo final scores. Oklahoma will do it, 197.175. Number 10, Denver goes 196.875, just a 3/10 difference in that competition. Texas women's goes 193.65, and Lindenwood will round it out with a 191.625. And that will bring us to our Loves Gymnast of the meet. It is freshman Audrey Davis. Starting on vault, she throws the Yurchenko 1.5, and she had sticky feet tonight, Kelly.
She did. She is so exciting to watch. I mean, all day long we're going to get to see her. And like Coach Kendler said, I mean, she is the name to remember, and just a glimpse of what we are going to be able to see from this Sooner superstar.
Ties the season high on both vault and bars. The bar routine is flawless. It is something I look forward to every single night.
That's exactly the truth. And for her to nail the landing like that, I mean, it's poetry in motion, and it's amazing that someone so young can already provide that for this team.
And heading over to balance beam, maybe not the highest score for her, but she scores a 9.75, and look, she follows a fall. She gets the Sooners back on track. Just a freshman, that's no easy task.
That's right, is exactly what I was going to say. And I love her dismount. I mean, it pops off. It's unique because not everybody does the double full dismount. She does separate herself from the rest of the group, whether really in any event.
Okay, that's going to do it. Oklahoma wins with a 197.175. The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office is a proud sponsor of OU Athletics and wants to remind you that drinking and driving is deadly and illegal. Today, together, we can end DUI. Visit ndui.com for more information. All right, that will do it for us here inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Thanks so much to our producer, Grant Wade, and our entire crew. For Kelly Garrison Funderburk, I'm Meg McDonald. We will see you next time, Sooner Nation.